I'm here with Julia Watkins, who's a 2009 graduate of the, I keep thinking, hotel restaurant major with an LER minor. I don't forget the minor part, probably because you're so involved in our department. And Julie is an organizer for the SEIU Healthcare PA. So, Julia, I know what an organizer is, but maybe our audience does not.
An organizer is a leader in the labor movement who leads workers through struggle so that they can band together and make the improvements that they want to see made and stop the things that they don't want to see from happening.
How do you have access to these workers?
Workers will communicate with our local and get in contact with us, and through that we're able to talk with them and branch out to the rest of their coworkers. But it's really not so much organizer to worker conversations that are effective, it's more worker to worker conversations. That's what you try to create.
Do you call up the employer and say, hey, there's some workers, they want to talk to us about a union, when's a good time for us to stop by?
I never talk to the employer ever. That's not up for me to do.
Where do you usually meet these workers?
At their homes, local restaurants, hotels, other meeting spaces, wherever is convenient for workers.
Do you find they're often afraid?
I think workers are afraid. I think that's the number one thing that keeps people from forming unions is fear, fear of the unknown. I think it's a big leap of faith to trust yourself and your coworkers enough to take your work and your life into your own hands.
But it's not like they can get fired for it, right? It's illegal to get fired for organizing, so why should they be scared?
I think it's a big leap of faith, and I think, workers are always afraid of what their employer is going to do, unfortunately. That's why forming a union is so important, so that when there's a bunch of you standing together, management can't do anything. If there's just one of you, they can.
So what would you say has been some of the most effective tactics that you've had as an organizer to really get these workers to see why it's so important to form a union?
The most important thing you can do is have really good conversations and good trainings with workers about how to talk with their coworkers in an effective way, so that workers understand what a union is, that it's them and not me, and that when they stand together they can really make these improvements. So the best tactic is good education and good messaging, absolutely.
What kind of positive results have you seen in organizing healthcare? As a result, what have you seen as a before and after workplace situation?
I've seen many differences in staffing ratios, in the wages that workers get, and just the overall respect and empowerment that workers feel at work with their coworkers and with their employer, not being afraid of the boss anymore.
Recently, you said that home care workers were organized?
Yep, 5,500 consumer-directed home care attendants just formed a union about a week and a half ago.
I bet they had some really good health care benefits, though, beforehand. So what was the driving force for this?
That's a great question. Home care attendants are healthcare workers who do not have any benefits at all, including healthcare benefits. So that was a really big drive for them to organize so that they can get some benefits.
Wow, that's really good. It definitely makes sense. You see what other people have and you realize how important it is to have that health care.
Definitely. As a healthcare worker, if you're sick, your patient is sick.
Well, organizing is not an easy job, is it?
It has its challenges.
What would you say is either the most wonderful part of the job and some of the biggest challenges?
The most wonderful part of the job is really connecting with another person on a really great level about just having really great conversations and connecting with people and walking away from good conversations feeling great and knowing that worker feels empowered and is going to go do what they need to do to form their union. And the most challenging part is definitely when management scares workers and workers are too afraid to organize. It's the most challenging thing to see.
Norma Rae, great movie or the greatest organizing movie?
It's a great movie for sure.
Do you ever feel like just getting on top of something with a big sign?
I feel like that all the time. Everybody wants to be heard.
Exactly. Well, did you want to add anything else?
I think the LER department at Penn State, and SLR, of course, for educating me and taking me to the place that I am now, for sure.
Thank you, Julia.